A lot of it had to do with our cultural differences. Don't you think about bad things?
No. You got judged.
People didn't know we were dating for the first bit of our relationship. There's a reason for that.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Piia Tamare and this is my boyfriend Edward.
Hello.
If you're new here,
How long have we been dating for?
we've been dating for 3 years actually.
3 years of dating.
Yes, but in those 3 years together, we've kept a lot from the public.
Ooh, dramatic. You know, everyone thinks that everything's just been smooth sailing and so easy for us, but we've actually been through some pretty dark times.
And today we feel like we're comfortable sharing some of those struggles with you guys in the hope it inspires whoever is struggling or just let you in on some gossip here, okay?
Yeah. Struggling people or nosy people?
Or noisy people. Yeah, we're gonna spill the tea.
Yeah.
I've actually prepared a list of questions to help us break down those struggles. So the first question is, why did we keep our relationship secret? When we first came out, they're like, oh, you guys have been 2 years together? A year and a half in?
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, it was a big shock for all of our followers.
People didn't know we were dating for the first bit of our relationship.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that.
The first major reason is Edward's work situation. So Edward is part of a group called Cantomando. It's a 3 guys group.
Yeah.
And when we first started dating, we were the first to start dating.
It was just one of those things where, because I was in the public eye all the time, I just didn't know whether or not it made sense to kind of show everyone, like, hey, here's my girlfriend, whatever. But eventually that didn't become a problem anymore. So we just went ahead and did that. There was one video where all of our girlfriends were shown in video together for the first time. And that was a cheap versus expensive date video. And it was pretty far in. So technically it was basically a secret for a year and a half.
The second reason is that we were in a long distance relationship at first for the first year. Being in a long distance relationship meant the opportunities of us sharing about moments on social media are more rare than the average person, just because we're not seeing each other quite frequently, right?
Yeah, less opportunity.
Less opportunities to post about each other.
If for example, if they're not always around you, it's hard to include them in a lot of stories and stuff, and especially if you're living with other people and there may be other girls and you might tag them as well. Just being long distance makes it harder to post about the other person unless you're gonna make like a dedicated post like, I miss you, baby, or something like that. Like 4 months without seeing you, and that was a bit too cheesy, you know? So like, we couldn't do that. Also, I'm not sure if this is applicable for Piia, but personally, I like to keep my private life very separate from
Oh yeah, that's true.
From like social media.
Social media. Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm not
that's
that
true.
big of a fan of sharing like, you know, these private things with everybody. But over time, you know, I saw that it meant a lot to this relationship and it meant a lot to Piia as well. So
funny, that used to bother me.
Yeah,
a
it
lot.
really bothered her.
Yeah,
so.
it really bothered me because I was the one who felt like I'm being public about our relationship, and Edward, even though it was private for him, but it felt it was secretive. Like he's keeping it a secret.
Well, I wasn't trying to keep it a secret, but I can see why Piia would feel that way. And
especially it's like almost 2 years in, you know.
I can see why she would feel that way, and nowadays I feel like, you know, if I see a couple, I don't see them on each other's profiles. I'm like,
now
what's going on here? You know, like
now
is this
he
person
sees
trying
my
to hide
point.
it? Yeah, I see it.
It's more of a love language. You know how some people, words of affirmation is a thing or quality time is a thing. I feel posting about the other person is a love language, in my honest opinion, at least for me.
Is it because you want to be shown off, right?
It's not showing off. It's just
like, hey, I'm taken.
It's
don't
like
come
saying
nearby.
I'm taken.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. It's saying I'm taken. But at least a picture just to let people know that, you know, there's someone in your life. So yeah. Now, next question. Have we ever thought of breaking up? I'll go ahead and say it first. I have, at the very beginning of our relationship. As the relationship went on, hey, you stop acting like you don't know.
Interesting.
As the relationship went on, things got like improved a lot, but I would say the start is when we had the clashes.
I think a lot of it had to do with our cultural differences.
Okay, yeah. Before everyone jumps in on that and being like, Piia, that's because your parents didn't approve, or you guys come from different religions. Let me tell you, it's not the case, okay? We are actually very blessed that we got lucky on this part, but we actually fought over, how do I say, it's like the
expectations.
The expectations.
What kind of expectations we had of each other in the going through the different stages of our relationship. For example, like there's certain things that you're from Middle Eastern culture, and then I would say I'm Asian American culture, which is actually more American than Asian, really. So there's certain things that you think are, as an American, you're like, oh, that's okay. That's not that bad. You know, that's not considered unfaithful or, you know, cheating or anything like that. But then it might be sensitive to someone from your culture, and then vice versa, right? So,
do you want to give examples?
I'll give example. Oh, okay. Here's an example. Okay, for example, one thing was maybe like girls that I have hooked up with before or had some kind of past thing, continuing to engage with their Instagram posts and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Like before, I'm like, well, that's not a big deal. You know, I just liked a picture of a girl because my finger slipped there, or like it's just like this, you know, like. But then the more we fought, so we had a big fight about this. But then I ended up seeing her point. I'm like, you know what, I probably wouldn't want her to do the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That's a very prime example you gave, like interacting with people he hooked up with.
But this all comes back to culture, right? It's like
the unspoken
but for me,
element.
The unspoken element.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's just, but for me, it was like a no-brainer. Like, how could you do that? Like, you're literally hinting at them, especially because I know how girls think. Even though that's maybe not what your intention is, but that could be perceived in a certain way for that person, or they would think that you're opening up a chance for them to engage with you again, and all of those things I had to like explain myself. And was the thing about expectations, especially, is that because they haven't been established, so you only gonna discuss them when they happen, and you don't discuss everything all at once. So let's say that incident happened, and then it happens again in the future, nuanced differently, and then we have to bring up the topic again. And so this is why the start of our relationship was very rough, is because we kept learning about each other's expectations.
We just needed to learn what kind of expectations we had from each other.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes from cultural differences. You know, I think if we were from the same culture, it would be easy to follow the same unspoken, and these things would never need to be brought up.
Yeah.
But because we're from different cultures, you have to communicate. You need a lot more communication, because a lot of these expectation things are going to pop up over and over again.
That's
That's what made it very rough at the beginning and led to some of the times where we almost consider breaking up.
It's very hard to explain this, because I feel like most of the times when I bring this up with anyone,
You're about to cry. Okay, time to cut. Don't you think about bad things?
No.
What?
It's fine.
What's the matter?
No, it's just that you get judged thinking that
You successfully prevented the makeup from being ruined. It takes a lot of skill to not cry when you're about to cry.
So the biggest struggle was dealing with that at first, but could not really express it to anyone, because you're afraid of being judged by thinking that you're very conservative or traditional. Sorry. Let me take a moment for my tears to dry.
So we're in a much better place now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I wanted to like shed the light on the struggles for someone who, I mean, it was definitely hard for Edward. Absolutely, I'm not just taking that away, but I'm in that culture. It's not like Edward in Lebanon and he's dealing with that. So I'm in this culture. I'm in this pool of culture.
Yeah, maybe you just didn't have someone to talk to about these things.
I didn't have someone to talk to about these things, so I had to deal with this by myself. I even didn't know if it was proper for me to bring it up with Edward because I didn't know if it was right for me to say it. I've always felt like I have to just accept the way it is because this is the culture I'm in right now.
Also, Piia is very protective of not telling our bad things to anyone else. So she always tries to protect the way that we are. She protects our reputation. So it makes it even harder for her. Bottles everything in, but. That's why we went through this learning process so we can become who we are now and we're a lot better for each other. Given everything, it's better to go through that at the beginning than for that to come up later in a relationship.
That's true. For us to actually overcome these and still work on ourselves, that shows a lot of determination that we really want this to work.
Not everything is easy.
Yeah, but not everything is easy, for sure.
But the good things sometimes require a lot of work.
That's true. On the other hand, on a positive note, what we had no trouble with, so funny coming from different backgrounds, is like, for example, family dynamics. Like I get along very well with his mom. He gets along very well with my parents. Even like religion is not a problem for us. So yeah. Anyway, third and final question. Is social media fake? I don't think social media is fake, but social media shows one truth and one truth only. Yeah,
it doesn't show the entire story. It shows half the story.
Not even half. Like, what are you sharing?
That's true.
And when are you sharing? You're sharing your positive moments. You're sharing your accomplishments. You're sharing. It's just the nature of social media.
Well, with us, it's like, what we show on social media, we show the happy side of us in relationship. And now that we've talked about kind of the negatives that we've been through, you can see that, for every happy side, there also is like a flip side. It's just whether or not you decide, is it worth it, And
Exactly.
This relationship has been very worth it for us. Just you guys haven't seen the negative side.
That's true. Okay. Like for me, honestly, I use social media. It's a tool for me to just keep track of my life. I love filming. I love editing. I love creating content. It's always something I love. It's like my love language. But the downside of it, especially when you become a content creator, is that you have to do it. Sorry, my alarm. Especially when we travel, and you have to film, it sometimes gets in the way of actually enjoying the trip. We actually had talks about this and arguments about this. Like, for example, our recent trip to Italy.
For me, it's okay. I want her to tell me, hey, these are the scenes we need. We're done filming. Okay, put it away. But then she wanted to kind of film everything just in case she needed it, right?
That's the problem. Okay, this is the thing about especially travel vlogs, is that you don't know what you're gonna end up using. This is why my Kenya vlog, I told Edward, it's gonna be my last vlog that I'm just gonna have no purpose behind it and just collectively just film the whole thing. I told him I'm retiring that okay.
There's a celebration that you're retiring that. Or it's like, hey, don't retire that.
Moving forward, I want every video to have a purpose. I want to inspire couples like us by telling our story, by being transparent with you guys. I want to also showcase the beauty of Arab culture and Chinese culture. I think there's a lot to share about those two beautiful cultures, and this is what I want to be able to do on this channel.
That's cool. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are excited to see as well.
Anyway, I hope this tells you a little bit about us. And if you want to keep supporting, just make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy 3 years.
Happy 3 years.
I guess I thought you'd read my mind.